Hey folks, Eddie from Brain Pulp TV back with the slightly delayed fifth part of our Shadows of Innistrad / Eldritch Moon 9-match friendly sealed league. Now we are going to get into the match shortly, but before we do, I got a few things to say. If you're not interested in hearing about anything other than the changes to the deck itself and then seeing the matches, I will put some time code up letting you know where you can skip to and get right to that. However, there is a few things which I think are somewhat pertinent to these videos and to the future of these videos that I am going to be talking about, so you may want to stick around for it. First and foremost, I do apologize. These videos usually go up on Mondays. At least they have traditionally since the beginning of me doing Let's Plays on the channel. I've been posting them on Monday. There has been some slight shuffling around occasionally, but for the most part, I think you guys can rely on them going up on Mondays. So when they don't, I apologize. It's not something I want. I prefer the consistency of having a schedule that we stick to. Sadly, sometimes life gets in the way, but I will try to keep it so that these videos initially appear on Monday on the channel. While we're talking about this, if there is ever a time where a video does not show up on the day you're expecting it, the best place to go to see maybe if something's going on, if there's a delay for a reason, whatever, is our Twitter account. I'm not just saying this to push our Twitter account, but at BrainPulpTV is our Twitter account. At Geek Tragedy is my own personal one. You can follow both or one or whatever. But you don't even have to follow. Even if you just want to check and see if there's a delay of the video or even just what's going on, you can check our Twitter account. For example, on Monday, I did post that the next video for this series will not be up till Tuesday night or Wednesday night, which hopefully, if this is being released when I think it's going to be released, it should be Wednesday night if you're watching this right when it's released. So yes, while we do want to try to get the videos out on the days you're used to, like Mana Caves on Friday and stuff like that, there may be times where there's slight delays, and if there are, that is the place to go to find information on it. Maybe one day our website will be the place to go for that type of information. However, it's sort of few and far between that we've been updating it lately. We're going to try to get better at that as well too. But in the meantime, yes, the Twitter is the best place to go. The Twitter is the best place to go. I sound like I'm 80 years old. In other news, one of the things that caused the delay is I needed to get some new hardware for the computer. I needed to get new speakers. That didn't really affect the videos, though it was kind of a pain in the ass because when I was editing the videos, I would have to use headphones. I much prefer just being able to listen to the audio through speakers. Had to get new speakers because we've been having a ton of thunderstorms here in Winnipeg, which is where I'm from. And I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently lightning storms can destroy your speaker systems because after one night, both the audio bar that I had hooked up to the computer and the surround sound speakers in my rec room were fried. Both pieces of equipment were hooked up to incredibly heavy-duty surge protectors, but that still didn't seem to do the trick, and they, for all purposes, are completely dead. So now I have new speakers. I also have a brand new monitor. You guys can't see it, but when I do the recording, I have one monitor set up that has the video recording software, the audio recording software, and then on the other monitor is where I'm actually playing Magic Online. Now, up until this point, I've been swapping out the second monitor between this computer, which I use for recording games and editing, and the computer that you can't see behind me because there's actually a green screen blocking the other computer, which I use for Photoshop. So this is sort of like the Brain Pulp Central computer I'm using right now, and the other one is what I use for my day-to-day work. Swapping the monitor back and forth once or twice per day had slowly been making one of the ports, the HDMI port that I use to quickly sort of swap out between the two, a bit janky. I noticed it been getting a bit loose, and I was getting more and more worried about continuing to swap it out. So I sucked it up. I bought a new monitor for this computer, so this setup should be a lot easier now. And now I don't have to go through the pain of having to shut down the computers, switch out monitors, turn them back on, shut them back down, switch them back, that sort of thing. So now I have a fairly dedicated editing and game recording computer. Well, the computer was always dedicated to that, but now I have a full system which works complete with two monitors. So everything I need, and that just came in yesterday. This monitor just came in yesterday as of when I'm recording this, which is, I believe, Wednesday. So the whole waiting for equipment thing did cause a bit of delay, but the other thing which caused the delay with these videos, and this is something where I sort of should have seen it coming, but I didn't. When I decided to do the leagues. A commenter, Hans, had mentioned that it might be an idea to wait before I play a few games in the league so that you guys can respond, check out the build that I've created, let me know maybe with some tweaks, some sort of changes, and then I can enact those changes and then continue on with the games. And I thought that was a very, very good idea. It was something I definitely wanted to try. It was something I did try and had worked in the past, but this time I ran into a small problem. Now, because I work a freelance job, basically when work comes in, I have to do it. It can be sort of feast or famine. I can have a fairly easy week, or I can just be slammed by deadlines for an entire month. So this causes some issues in that my ability to sit and play some games and do some recording, I could have a lot of time to do it, or I could have practically no time at all. Now, with this league, I posted the first 3 matches on Monday, and I was going to wait to play the next 3 matches, which is starting with this one here, on the following Friday. Now, typically, given my workload, Fridays are one of my days off, so it's usually a very good day for me to be able to record. However, it did not work out this time, so I didn't play any of the games for 4 days where I could have actually had time to play them, and then by the time when I decided that I was going to play them, I had no time to do it, which put me in sort of a delayed sort of state of getting these videos out to you. So Friday went by, I was not able to play. Saturday went by, I was not able to play. Sunday is one of my busier days actually for work, so I was not able to play. You can see where this is going. It got delayed. And not just playing the game, but I then have to edit the games itself, and then render it, and then put it on YouTube. So there's a delay even after I play the games, which is why these games have been delayed a bit. So I think in the future, when I do leagues, I still want to give you guys time to respond to the decks that I've built and get to see some of the matches and maybe give me some feedback. However, I'm not going to go out of my way to buffer it so that an entire week goes by before I play more and more of the matches. So essentially, I will be playing future leagues. When I do leagues, I will be doing future leagues, so I'll be playing as many matches as I can fit in back to back to back. And if there is a gap between some of the matches and then you guys are able to respond to and give me some advice or whatever like that, that's great. If not, I'll suffer through that because at least you guys will be getting the videos up on time. Another thing I want to mention while I'm yammering on and on and on is that I may be taking a slight break from doing some Magic Online videos like this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still going to try to work it out so that this is still a regular thing on Mondays, but I want to do some other videos for the channel, and Travis and Steve and I are working together on some other stuff that may take up more time. But I'd like to do some deck techs. I'd like to do some, just some informational videos, some personal videos about Magic in my life, about gaming in general. And I'd also like to do some Let's Plays that aren't revolving around Magic. There are a bunch of games. I'm a gamer beyond just Magic and Magic Online. So there are a bunch of games that I'd really like to play, and I think will especially work well with me being able to record it and show you guys. So that might be in the future. So possibly some Mondays coming up will not be Magic Online. I know some of you guys are coming to the channel just because of Magic content, and that's perfectly fine. And there will still be plenty of Magic content for you guys to watch, but I do want to try to do some non-Magic related videos, as well as some non-gameplay Magic related videos. For example, the new Conspiracy, the sequel to Conspiracy 2, Heir to the Throne, or The King is Dead, or I can't remember what it's called, but the new Conspiracy set is coming out. I'm super excited about it because Conspiracy was one of my all-time favorite sets that Magic has ever come out with, so the sequel is looking really good. Some of the previews already started to come out. The sequel, in my opinion, is looking really good. So, for example, of some of the videos that I want to try to fit in over the next few weeks are a few videos about the new Conspiracy set, about maybe some of the new Conspiracy cards, maybe an interesting bit of deck tech incorporating some of those Conspiracy cards into a Legacy deck. I don't know, but there are videos I would like to do that I'm not quite having the time to do right now, and if it means delaying 1 week of Magic Online videos in order to get a couple of those videos out, I may make that decision, but I'm not entirely sure. However, I will be keeping you guys updated as to when or if I delay any of the future Magic Online videos. For now, this part, the 5th part, is going to be going up tonight, which should be Wednesday night. The next couple parts I will try to get out on Thursday and then Friday. And then hopefully by Monday I will be caught up and we'll have the final 3 matches of the last stage of this league for you guys on the day that it normally goes up. Okay, hopefully that wasn't all rambly. I'm guessing I'll be able to maybe edit into a more cohesive bit of dialogue, but if I wasn't, thank you guys very much for suffering through that. Now, let's get to the 4th match and 5th part of this video right now. Now, before I go ahead and hit the play button to get into the 4th match, a couple of you guys, Hans and Bash Trigger, left great comments, a series of great comments in the comments section, sort of giving me some advice, giving me some build suggestions, and I am going to implement those. I have actually built decks around both what Hans suggested and what Bash Trigger has suggested. For the first match coming back from this, after getting your advice, I am going to go with Hans' build, or something that is very, very close to Hans' build, mostly because, for 2 reasons. One, it is a 2-color build now. It is a white-green build, and I always prefer to be able to play just 2 colors if I can. Bash Trigger's build was closer to what my original build was, in the sense that it was white, black, and green, and I really like that build, and I am hoping I get a chance to play with it, but I want to try this one first. The other reason why I'm going to be going with this one first is because Hans had a chance to respond and take into account the extra pack that I got to open up after the first stage, whereas Bash Trigger was giving me advice based on the card pool I started off with. So even though I can incorporate some of the cards from the pack into what Bash Trigger suggests, and I have, if you can see in the corner, I'm pointing to it, not that you can see me point, but there's both a white-green and a white-black-green deck in the deck section. If you look in the bottom, it would be your bottom left-hand corner, I think, maybe. The black-white-green one is the build based after what Bash Trigger suggested, and the white-green one is what Hans suggested. Now, this is what I'm going to go with right now, the white-green one. So I'm going to quickly go over the cards so you know what the build is. And I think I remember I did make one change. I think there was one particular card that I sort of... Yes, okay, now I remember what it is. Anyways, we have... the card preview. There we go. Okay, so we have Thraben Inspector, Blessed Alliance, Geist of the Lonely Vigil, Sigardian Priest, Steadfast Cathar, Hamlet Captain, Angelic Purge, 2 copies of Choking Restraints, Dawngriff, Ironclad Slayer, 2 copies of it, because we actually have a couple enchantments that having 2 Ironclad Slayers would actually help with. Hermit of Natterknolls, Cryptolith Fragment, Fiendbinder, Gisela, Tangleclaw Werewolf. I really hate the fact that they've now created the preview. I mean, it was kind of a pain in the ass to have to shift the preview over when I was talking about it, but it was actually easier to do that than have the preview, well, whatever. Anyways, Faithbearer Paladin, which is one of the new cards we got, I believe. Thalia's Lancers, which will be able to tutor up Gisela and is one of the new cards we had. Somberwall Stag, Seasons Past, and 2 copies of the Horrid Swarm. Now, I believe the change that I made to it is I'm including the 2nd copy of the Horrid Swarm. I think Primal Druid, if I'm remembering correctly, was one of the cards that Hans suggested I put in the deck. I've taken that out. I realize that can help us with ramp, but I've taken that out and put in an extra copy of the Horrid Swarm. So anyways, this is the deck we are going to play in our 4th match. Now, if it does well, great. If not, I will probably test out the deck that Bash Trigger suggested in the 5th match. But now, after all that talking, let's hit play, let's get to the match, and see how we do. On a side note, while waiting for the match to load up, the speaker setup I have actually works to my advantage, because before I used to have to plug my headphones into the computer, which is down here, and the cord was just barely long enough so that I wasn't, tethered to the computer and I couldn't move my head at all. Now I have this nice little port on the table itself, so I have a lot more wiggle room, and I don't have to worry about sort of leaning over to get my drink and then yanking the earphones out or earbuds out, which I've done a few times. I just didn't let that stay on camera. Okay, here we are in the 4th match. The opening hand I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, I think this works perfectly fine for us, so let's just go ahead and keep it. No turn 1 play, but we only have one turn 1 card, I think, in the deck right now, which is the Thraben Inspector, so it's not the end of the world if we don't have a turn 1 play. We do have a turn 2 play in Steadfast Cathar, which is great. And we're just going to go ahead and play that out. Figure out maybe next turn if we use Ironclad Slayer. See, now one of the good things about having Ironclad Slayer in, 2 copies of it in, is I can play it for tempo on turn 3 instead of wasting the extra value. So I think... Now, I can either do Ironclad Slayer or Cryptolith Fragment in order to sort of help. If I do Cryptolith Fragment, I can possibly bring Faithbearer out next turn. Let's swing in first with the Cathar. Blessed Alliance. Okay. Sacrifice a creature. And because of that, let's do the Cryptolith Fragment. Let's do that. And then if we catch a land, we can actually get Faithbearer out on our turn 4, which would be great. This also allows us to have double white if we pick up Gisela in our next turn. So the other, obviously the other alternative would be play Ironclad Slayer, which I don't think would be wrong, but I'd like the idea of being able to play Faithbearer Paladin if possible. Oh, when it becomes the target of spell or ability an opponent controls, exile Eternal Scourge. Right. Okay, so we can put that in the graveyard with Blessed Alliance. We can also block it with Faithbearer Paladin. If we catch a land, we do not catch a land. But what we can do is play the Priest and then keep up mana for Blessed Alliance. So let's do that. Let's play the Priest. And then we'll make him sacrifice the Eternal Scourge, which would be great because we're not targeting it, we're targeting them. It's going to go to the graveyard, and it can't keep recurring from exile. And it's just good old-fashioned revenge for them playing Blessed Alliance on us. So, Rabid Bite. That sucks, but at least they got another card of their hand. We're going to attack. We are going to tap to add 1 white and 1 green and cast Blessed Alliance. Target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature. There we go. Now this should send it to the graveyard. And it does, good. So they cannot just pop it back out of exile. Ideally, we'll get another land and be able to play the Paladin, which would be great. Well, there's a card I don't see very often. Okay, well, worst case scenario, we get the Ironclad out. That's fine. We still have removal in our hand, which is wonderful. They got 4 cards in hand, so I mean, they could discard, they could gain a bunch of life. They have their own Slayer. Not for extra value, which is great. I'm going to swing in with the Slayer. See if they make the trade. They do. And bring out the Faithbearer Paladin. So this will also help offset the continual life loss of Cryptolith Fragment. Now, I could use Angelic Purge on the enchantment. I don't see the point in that. They have black, which means they could have madness cards. But I'm not overly worried about it. I'm not even overly worried about the life gain aspect of it. But if it does get out of control, I can always sort of switch it up. Morn Willow. It of the Horrid Swarm. Let's just swing in with the Paladin. See if they do anything. And we will bring out the Ironclad Slayer, which we can actually just sack next turn if we want to bring out It of the Horrid Swarm. So, or it'll trade with Morn Willow. I don't think we really need to make that trade though. May not be a bad idea because it will force them to have to keep a board presence going. Do I want to do this? Do I want to block it? No, I want to keep, you know, I'm going to keep Ironclad Slayer up because I might use it to bring out the It, which will create 2/1/1 insect tokens and they end their turn. Now we have a different option. We can bring out the Stag. Let's go ahead and swing in with both first. Okay, so 3. This will make it 4. So let's go ahead and cast It with a merge. Sacrifice that. 2 tokens, which I can use to take out Morn Willow if need be. Or I can actually just block Morn Willow with the Horrid Swarm. But if they've got a trick, then I'd rather give up 2 insect tokens. I think we're doing pretty well. They've got 4 cards in hand, though, so we're not doing super, super great. We do have Angelic Purge, which will help us out. Somberald Stag. So we basically have 2 bits of a removal in our hand. And they are deciding to do nothing, which is good for us. You know, I probably won't even bother blocking this turn as well, too, if he swings into the Morn Willow. Or if they swing into Morn Willow, I don't know if it's a he. Wolvenwald Captive. Okay. Excellent. So they're tapped out. And this is a perfect target for the Stag, because it'll live, or we can just bring out Gisela and really ruin their day. I'm going to do, I'm going to do the Stag first. Yeah, let's do the Stag first. Get rid of that. Use the ability, yes. And then I'm going to swing in with both. And if they want to double block one to get rid of one, I'm fine with that. Because I'll just Angelic Purge the other one next turn. Should I swing him with the insects? What the hell, I'll swing into 1 insect. Keep 1 insect up for Angelic Purge. Yeah, I figured they would do that. Let's take care of the one with Vigilance. So yeah, we have the opponent probably on their back heel right now. Angelic Purge can take out one of their blockers. They can discard up to 2 cards and gain 6 life. I was surprised they played their land unless they have something which they need all the land for. Which it looks like they might. So they're keeping 1 land up to discard something. Reaper of Flight, Moonsilver. So we're just going to Angelic Purge the Reaper and then swing in with everything. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Choose target artifact creature enchant. Okay, just to make sure I'm reading it right. And then sacrifice a permanent, the insect. And now we're just going to swing in with everything. We win. Excellent. Alrighty, I don't think we need to sideboard anything. So this seems to be working quite well for us. At least it did this game for sure. So let's just go ahead, hit submit, and see how it works out for us in the second game of this match. Okay, this is... I'm not as crazy about this opening hand. We do have removal. We have turn 3 play. We don't have any of our turn 2 plays, which is surprising because we do have a fair number of turn 2 cards. I think I'm going to keep this, though, because we're coming off of a win, and we're on the draw. So, yeah, we will keep this. Did they just miss their land drop? Because, I mean, I've been there, and I feel bad. If that's the case, or are they purposely waiting so that they can madness something out? No, they're not. They just, yeah, they accidentally missed their land drop. That sucks, because I have been there. It is one of the worst things to do. Luckily, we don't, for them, we don't have an early game right now, so it's not like they're missing out on much. But still, that puts them behind. I mean, that's... I do feel bad for the opponent. We got a flyer in play, a 2/2 flyer in play, which is great for us. And they're on 2 lands. Wow, this is really not good for our opponent. Okay, we have another play here. We're just going to swing in and probably eat a Blessed Alliance. No! Okay, well, we'll bring out the Cathar. I mean, we could have sacked the Griff to bring out the It, and maybe we'll do that next turn. But for now, I don't think we need to really pick up the pace on our opponent because they're sadly behind. All right, let's go swing in with both. Now, it may be a good idea to keep the flyer around, but I'm going to go ahead and do this anyways. Cast with Emerge, sack a creature. Because this gives us a huge board presence early on when they're only on 2 lands. Man, I do not feel good about this win. I mean, it's not a win yet, but still, it's really not shaping up well for our opponent here. And we'll do the fragment. So we can get these Lancers out next turn if we want. Well, they got a 3rd land, but it may be too little too late. Especially considering we can Choking Restraints or Angelic Purge, whatever they put onto the board. Yeah, that's extremely rough. I do feel bad for Sky Napalm 666. So there you go, folks. There was a bit of a wait with this one, but we finally got the 4th match, and it's a win under our belt. So I once again apologize for the delay, but here it is. I'm going to try to get the next 2 matches out as quickly as possible. If I can get them out late tonight, that's great. If not, they will be out on Thursday and Friday, probably respectively. But still, thank you guys for sticking with me and for understanding the delay. Also, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any further questions, comments, advice, please leave that in the comments section below. I will probably be continuing on with this build in the next match, but I may switch up in the third match of this stage to the deck that more closely resembles what Bash Trigger suggested. But if this one seems to be doing well for us, I may just stick with this one. You can also follow and contact us on Twitter. Like I said, that's probably the best way right now for you guys to sort of keep updated whenever there may be a delay or whenever something's happening in the world of Brain Pulp TV. So you can follow us at Brain Pulp TV, or you can follow me directly at Geek Tragedy. And now that all that is said, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. It means a lot to us here, and I'll see you all very soon.